Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I want to talk about Sonny and Nina for a minute because, man, there's a divide between the fans, between Sonny, and just in general. Because a lot of people don't really like how Sonny's acting. So for the people that don't like how Sonny's acting, uh, well, this episode is definitely not for you because it's, mm, pretty much after he scared away the paparazzi. More or less, he starts talking about Michael, the disrespect, and basically, he's like, since Michael, is acting a certain way, and he doesn't want me there, and he doesn't want me to support him, I'm going to support you. And when he said that, I was like, uh, I'm trying to look at it from both sides. I really am. I try to look at things from both sides, not just because I started doing YouTube. This is something I've been doing way even before then. Because a lot of times things aren't always black and white. But I do understand where both people are coming from. The fact that he said that I'm going to side with Nina is like officially saying that, yeah, I'm not family, I be acting kind of funny, whatever. I'm just going to sit there and choose you. I mean, for a while, a lot of people looked at it like Sonny chose Nina over his family the moment he got back from Nixon Falls. Is that they felt like he just chose Nina over his family. And when he said that he's going to support Nina through this trial, through this custody battle, it made it official. Okay? Made it official. There's no other way to sit there and look at it. It made it official. But I understand the tension between the two. And I get that Michael's upset with him. And he has every right to be upset with him. But this is more than just him just being angry. I mean, Sonny literally told Nina that Michael is trying to take me down. He's trying to take everything that I own. He's trying to take my business, my other family, the people that count on me. He's just trying to dismantle all of that. And I can't let that happen. So, more or less, he pretty much, it's weird for me to sit there and say that he declared war on his own son. But to be fair, Michael did declare war on Sonny. He's not a child anymore. He's a grown ass adult. He understands what Sonny does, not looking at him with rose colored glasses, not idolizing him, seeing him for all his faults. And this is the side that he chose. He chose to go to war with Sonny. And Sonny is pretty much like, I'm not backing down. So, yeah. I, hmm. Now, like I said, I try to see things from both sides. And I understand that Sonny's upset with Michael and everyone else, but I just I don't understand how you can literally say that he's going to side with Nina in the custody battle because Michael doesn't want his support. You know, I mean, you give it to him anyway, regardless. You don't do it because it's going to make an impression on him. You do it because he's your son and you're his father, and you're going to support him no matter what. This is one of those no matter what situations. But I feel like because of the tension and the disrespect that Sonny has been getting, this is really why he's choosing, or why he's just, yeah, why he's choosing to side with Nina in the custody case. But it's bad. It's bad. Carly's still waiting for those test results. Runs into Bobbie. She makes up some sort of lie about it. They talk about Nina. Then they talk about Sonny. Bobbie's like, are you okay with everything going on, knowing that Sonny's getting more closer to Nina, damsel in distress and everything. And, Carly's like, yo, listen, that's his choice. He's a grown ass adult. Let him do what he wants. Like, not, I don't care pretty much. But, Bobbie's like, listen, I hate what you're saying, but you two always have a way of getting back together. Regardless of how I feel about him, that's always been your nature. That's always been your past, your path, and that's just, I don't really see that changing. And at some point, they wound up going to the Savoy because for some odd reason, that's pretty much the only club in town. Kind of odd because, I mean, it's not to sit there and say that Carly shouldn't be going to Savoy, but most likely that Nina and Sonny are going to be there. Or at some point, at least one of them is going to be there. I mean, I get it. It's a small town. They can't sit there and avoid each other forever. But it's one of those things where it's like, you see Bobbie, you see Carly just looking at them like, well, what are you doing here? What the hell are you doing here? Like, I mean, come on. You live in a small town. Apparently, very, very, very small town. So that should be interesting tomorrow. Now, I want to talk about the TJ and Molly and Marshall scene. So after Molly kind of, excuses herself to give those two a room or whatever to sit there and talk, she's like, I'm going to be at some jazz club. You can meet me there. TJ gives a very passionate, passionate speech, or a passionate plea to Marshall about why he feels it's important for him to go back to Port Charles, for him to be back with his family, regardless of situations that happen, regardless of pride, whatever, he wants him back in his life. And I'm going to be completely honest, I really did like that scene for a couple of reasons. One, it really, for a while, a lot of people would be like, oh, I don't really like TJ, he's not a really good actor, and he doesn't really have any chemistry with Molly, which is kind of odd because it's like, they are dating in real life, but whatever. A lot of people don't like TJ for just different reasons, and mostly because they feel like he's boring. But this is the first time I've actually really seen him like do a really good scene, and I'm like, this is what we need. This is what we need from TJ. Why can we not get more of this? For a lot of people that don't really like TJ, and they don't really like his old scenes or whatever. I'm like, maybe if they give him more of scenes like this, then we wouldn't have such a problem. They actually gave him something to do. And granted, this isn't the first time they gave him something to do. They gave him something to do with the whole Molly and TJ and Brano thing, and when, TJ got kidnapped. I feel like if they give him scenes like that, to really show off what he can do, to really show off his character, I think a lot more people will be behind him and support him every time he's on screen. As opposed to usually like, it's TJ and Molly, I don't really care. We're going to get back to the good stuff. But this, for me personally, was a good scene, and I want to see more scenes like that. He does convince him. It seems like he convinced him to come back to Port Charles, to be with his family, and, regardless of the situation that's going on with him and Curtis, we can sit there and work this out. And in the beginning, I was a little annoyed, and I did feel like, why should he have to sit there and open up a vein to really get Marshall to be in his life, when in the end, Marshall was more upset with Curtis. More upset with Curtis than anything else, and which is why he chose to leave. And then halfway through this convo, you got Marshall that's just giving excuse after excuse. Oh, I'm just really bad luck, or not bad luck, but you just don't want me around. I'm no good for anyone. You're better off, just having me not in your life. And I'm just like, all right, so let's just make a bunch of excuses, and all right, that's great. I mean, like I said, as much as I really did like the scene, you know, realistically, I felt like maybe TJ should have been a little upset. I mean, you left Curtis, you left his family because you got embarrassed about, being committed to a mental asylum or a mental hospital. And that's why you decide to fake your death and leave your family for years. I mean, it's like no one's really focusing on just how stupid that sounds. And granted, they can't focus on it because, well, that's part of the plot. Regardless of the common sense and the logic, that's part of the plot. And so when I always sit there and say, well, plot beats logic and common sense, this is one of those clear examples. This is one of those clear examples. I can't make this up. Okay, I really can't. And granted, that happens in a lot of stories, but some of it is just more glaring than others, and whatever. So anyway, decide to go. Now, granted, they're in Brooklyn. Okay, they're in Brooklyn. I want to sit there and stress that they're in Brooklyn. Okay, and Marshall decides to take him through the back alleys because he feels that, oh, you know I can get in and I don't have to sit there and pay a cover charge, and I just go right on in. And I'm like, in Brooklyn. I'm just not there just looking at this whole thing. When has it ever worked out for anyone when they decide to go through a back alley? I mean, there's nobody not read comic books. Martha and Thomas Wayne. No one. I don't understand how this ever worked for anyone. And granted, those two were, well, one of them was a doctor. So anyway, they both sit there, go in the club or whatever, and they get approached by two goons, and they want to sit there and rob them. So Marshall's like, listen, it's not worth it. Just give up our money and our keys and let them be on their way. So they do that. They empty their wallets, cell phones. And now this guy's like, I want the clarinet. And TJ's like, the hell you aren't? The last time something like that happened was with Olivia. Remember the scene with Olivia and the two guys, or the guy with the gun that wanted to sit there and shoot Olivia because she wouldn't give up her ring that Ned gave her? And Ned was like, just do it. And she made this impassionate speech about why I can't give it up, and it's a family heirloom, and this, that, and the third. And the robber coach has been like, what? Let me just shoot him in the leg just to kind of motivate her, because apparently she's not taking me seriously. I gave her a lot of smoke for that. And I'm giving that same courtesy to TJ. Bro, at the end of the day, it's night on. You two still have your lives. Probably not really argue over this. Now don't get me wrong. Having somebody rob you is a very terrifying and traumatic experience. And having somebody take something of yours that is so precious, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's your life versus that item. That item is memories, yeah, but they're still with you. Anyway, he seems like he's like, I'm not giving it up. No, we're not doing it. And, Marshall's like, nah, it's cool. I mean, it's not worth our lives. Now, you watch the previews, you see that TJ's okay. And he's sitting there asking somebody to call for help. I don't know if it is Marshall or if it's one of the goons. I don't know. Maybe Marshall is just gonna pull out some crazy karate skills, and he just accidentally wound up hurting somebody. That's probably on purpose, but whatever. I mean, let's put it this way: don't sleep on somebody who may be 50 just because they're a little bit older. Let's just put it that way. Don't do it, because And we all know what happened to what's his name, Joey, the hot-headed one. Oh, also I heard that somebody was not there telling me that Cyrus is coming back, and I'm like, good, good. I can't wait. I hope that Cyrus is coming back because he is sorely missed. But I have a feeling that if Cyrus comes back, and this is just my little theory, if Cyrus comes back, Maurice is already talking about retirement, so you can kind of guess how that's going to end. So at some point, Finn gets down there to talk to. Well, Finn gets down there to talk to Laura and Kevin, and they're talking about Liz and the psychic and everything like that. And Liz is just like, y'all just gonna sit there and talk behind my back. Y'all think I'm crazy now, right? That's what you think I am, right? You think I'm crazy. So you either think I'm crazy, or you don't believe in ghosts or whatever. And they get in this argument. Well, Liz gets defensive. Laura tries to calm it down a little bit. Kevin does the same thing, and Finn is like, "Yo, this woman's taking advantage of you." Laura does a thing called Chelsea a fake. Excuse me. Laura does a thing called her phony. They get into this huge argument with Liz and Finn, and well, Liz tells Finn to kick rocks. Like, yo, listen, if you're not going to be a part of me, part of my journey as far as trying to find Franco, and you're not going to sit there and sit in with me and the medium, then you can just leave. And he's like, all right, fine, I will. Now, at some point, he does wind up going down to Kelly's to meet up with Gregory and Violet. They're hanging out, having a good time, showing them the painting or whatever. I'm like, bro, why are you looking at that? Why are you looking at that picture upside down? I mean, was he trying to be funny or was he dead serious? Because part of me feels like he really couldn't tell what she drew and he just looked at it like that. Um. Anyway, nice little scene. At some point, Finn gets there, puts the headphones over Violet's ears, and he starts talking about Liz. All the break-ins and everything that happened that was really weird and it was really awkward and it was very unexplained. And no one's really there the whole time, so they're just like, what's going on? Watch the episode, you know what I'm talking. You know what I'm gonna say next. Violet, who took off the headphones and heard everything, was like, no, that's not true. Liz was there. Liz was there throughout all those times that stuff started happening. Liz was there. And you see the dumbfounded look on Finn's face where he's like, you're right. Liz was there. Why didn't I think of that? I'm a doctor. She's like 12. I should have came up with that there before her. Makes me wonder who's the real adult here. I mean, seriously, when you have her that's 12 or 9 or something, and she's the whole time it's like, yo, all that stuff that happened with her, that you sitting there saying no one was there, she was there. Now, here's something that's really odd, and I don't really understand this. At some point, well, when they started talking about Franco's ghost and everything like that, a vase fell. And Liz was like, oh, it's Franco's ghost. And they were like, no, maybe we just kind of put the bookshelves wrong and yada, yada, yada. But I'm also looking at that like, yeah, but the minute y'all start talking about Franco's, you start talking about the ghost of Franco and everything like that, the vase just happened to fall at that particular time. I mean, I get it; it could be a coincidence, but like, what are the chances? I mean, y'all were there all that time, and the vase just now fell. Come on, seriously? I get that Kevin's a man of science, and Ben's a man of science, and Laura, I don't know what the hell she is, but come on, at some point you got to kind of look at that and be like, really? Especially given Helena and all the stuff that she was able to pull off and the things that she was able to do, but nope, just goes right over that. Now, at some point, Liz says that she's going to go to bed. She goes upstairs. Now, Kevin and Laura are downstairs talking. At some point, I think Kevin, maybe, you know what, maybe they all went upstairs. I don't understand it because there's a part, and maybe I gotta sit there and watch it again. But what I don't understand is that maybe Laura went upstairs and Finn, not Finn, Kevin saw the door open and he checked. He was like, "What? The door is open. Why is the door open?" Talked to Laura and Laura's like, they kind of realized that Liz was gone. But I'm like, how did Liz get past them? Like, Liz went upstairs first. So if Liz went upstairs first and they were down there, how did she get past them? Not really understanding that. Anyway, she's at her house and she looks at a painting or a drawing and then she like tears it up or whatever. And you see in the next scene, Cam is sitting there like looking at Liz like, "Yo, what's going on with you? You good?" Now a lot of people are sitting there thinking that it's a DID story. It's either going to be a DID story. That's the number one theory. Number two is supernatural. Now I'm sitting there thinking that it's probably a DID story, but you never know. You never know. It's possible that they can sit there and do a supernatural story. Like I said, I watched Port Charles a long time ago, and that was in the same universe as GH. And I remember maybe years ago, and I got to sit there and kind of do more research. I could have swore somebody was like, they try to make Port Charles seem like it was something that was out of a book that Lucy wrote. But a lot of that stuff really doesn't add up because they did multiple crossovers. So I'm not buying that Lucy just wrote that in a book. And, they love to retcon things anyway. I mean, the whole Nicholas thing and the Hayden Barton's thing, like, they just act like, yep, half of the people just forgot because Thanos said so. I don't know. But, I don't know. I guess they can still go with the supernatural element. I was just about to sit there and say it was over, but then I forgot about the whole, more or less ladies' night out. This is Portia, Stella, and Epiphany. All they really do is talk about Epiphany, her going back to be a doctor. Um, Portia sitting there telling Stella that, yeah, I know about the whole, you lying for years and things of that nature, but it's cool. Curtis forgave you and he's going out to look for Marshall. They talk for a little bit, and then they decide to go out, and they run into Sonny. They talk for a little bit. They talk to Nina. And I'm not going to lie, there was one funny part where Nina was like, "Listen, I understand the article's out. Don't believe everything that you read." And more or less, they were just like, "Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, we just going to just do our thing over here. Y'all could just go back to whatever y'all were doing and whatever." Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh when Portia was like, "No, we're going to Savoy because we drink it for free." I was like, I never like Portia. I mean, yeah, she does mess up every now and then, but for the most part, I still like Portia. Um, they talk about Marshall for a little bit, and that was about it for the most part. I kind of do feel like their scenes are more filler than anything else. Nothing significant really came from it. Yeah, I feel like that's about it. Hmm. Now that I think about it, maybe it was Molly that TJ told to call an ambulance, and maybe Marshall's hurt going through back alleys in Brooklyn. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.